Okay, so this is the start of something creative where we've made our Metahumans into an actual playable character in Unreal 4, 5.1. Because it was kind of awkward to get it to go in. I had to look up some goddamn convoluted tutorial, and I had to specify 5.1 because the process is completely different for 5 and 5.1. But we got our Metahuman in, and we can play it on our little gamepad. Next step is to make it work with VR and give it some interesting environment. And then we can add some sort of bit related things, and and then we can do like extra stuff, extra content, more fun content like Code Miko does with her VR character. Can we just zoom in on the map? No, we can't. So we have to go into stupid, awkward locations to be able to get a closer look on our character. Controllers dead zone. So, we have to try and figure things like that out. But I think I made a pretty good likeness. And then we need to add like animations and various things. But, I've also got some funky trousers like that. So that's why I picked that. The t-shirts a little bit. So the change the angles. Like not the the trouble is with mouse, the viewpoint is very different. But yeah, the thing on the t-shirt, the you rock thing, sort of just glitches out a bit. But we need to make a level and we need to make all sorts of other stuff. And then we can also do like TikTok-y things with it. Like, TikTok animations and TikTok transforms with their new software. And do even more creative things. Now his shoes do go a bit through the floor. And I don't like that his trousers, have ankles. And no socks! Like, that's just frowned upon where I grew up. You'd get the piss taken out of you for having trousers that don't go down to your shoes. So, but yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job with making our metahuman character, and finally importing into Unreal 5. I just need to do some other stuff and face tracking and VR tracking because we now have the VR sets, and we can get this into VR games as well. So we can make this have a visible view on the game in VR so that our character will go around in the VR games when we play them, and you'll have a third-person view of this VR me going around in VR games, and it will be pretty interesting. Pretty unique content, because I don't think anyone has their VR themselves running around in the third person in these VR games when they're playing them. They just, overlay themselves or overlay. But I think it'll be fun to have like our VR avatar present ourselves in these VR games. So, I become the VR avatar when I go into VR games, and you'll see this VR character running through the VR game. And maybe I'll do a separate view of like me in real reality as well, to have like two cameras and things. But this is the fun stuff that we've got in mind. And then we can do like just chatting streams with VR character and, do silly bit interactions and maybe things that like transform my webcam into VR character and things like that. So, there's a lot of creative things that we do, and potentially go into the mikoverse with our VR character, because, obviously she's opened up the mikoverse to all sorts of people with not VR capabilities, but VTuber capabilities. And we do have a character that is all set up, ready to go for such capabilities. We just need to, sort out the things like the face tracking and get the VR headset and everything linked up to this character so we can make it move around with the VR set and the VR tracking. Because obviously it's got motion tracking through the room, so we can make the character move about through the room with us and, make it actually wave and follow our hands and do the gestures that we are doing. So there are a lot of things that we can do with this to make it very, very creative. It's just, it's just been a process to get to this stage. But we're here. We got the character in, and we can do all sorts of creative stuff with this now that we have our character all set up. But, this is just a sneak peek of our character and showing it off. Obviously, I want the camera a bit closer than it is, and you know, I might have to mess with the level of detail, because the level of detail not the greatest, and it needs glasses. And you know, it obviously looked like young teenage me, but you know, that's the best that we could do with Metahumans, and you know, I can mess about with the model now that it's its own separate entity in Unreal, and you know, give it maybe better simulated hair that's a bit more accurate and things like that. But you know, this is a start, and you know, it's a good start, and then we can do fun and creative stuff with this. So I just wanted to quickly do this and show it off, and you know, show things that we have planned, because you know, I think we've done a pretty good job. And there's a lot that we can do with this now that we have it all set up, finally. So now we just need to make all the more hard stuff, which is the environments and things to do and animations and all sorts of other things. So, you know, actually lots of work still to do. But to start, and it's a sneak peek.